In the spring of 1982, a mountain trail became a graveyard without a single body, and Linda Stout would become its most haunting enigma. Picture a woman who knew these mountains better than the back of her own hand, setting out for a routine day hike that should have been over by sunset. But as the shadows lengthened across the valley floor, the calls for her name were met only by the suffocating silence of the wilderness. Search parties were assembled within hours, their lanterns cutting through the gloom like dying stars in an endless, suffocating ocean of trees. Think about that for a second, a seasoned outdoors woman, someone who lived for the high-altitude air, simply erased from existence while on a public trail. The investigators found her vehicle parked exactly where she left it, the interior untouched, the keys still tucked away in the glove compartment. It was as if she had stepped out for a breath of air and walked straight off the edge of the physical world. And here is where it gets disturbing, because as the teams began to comb the dense undergrowth, they found absolutely nothing, not a footprint, not a scrap of fabric, not a sign of a struggle. In a wilderness that usually keeps its secrets, this lack of evidence feels aggressive, almost deliberate. Local rangers scoured every ravine and every jagged cliffside, looking for a sign of a fall or a misplaced step. But the terrain revealed no secrets, and the mountain seemed to be protecting an invisible truth. Days turned into weeks, and the initial urgency shifted into a cold, hollow dread that permeated the entire town. What could force a person to move so far off the path that they would become completely unfindable in under 24 hours? Some locals whispered about the strange magnetic anomalies reported in the region, stories of hikers losing their sense of direction in mere seconds. Could a simple hike turn into a descent into a localized phenomenon that science refuses to acknowledge? Others pointed to the suspicious sightings of a vehicle that didn't belong, seen idling near the trailhead just minutes before Linda arrived. But the driver was never identified, and that small, crucial lead evaporated like dew under a morning sun. The investigation became a tangled web of hearsay and dead ends, leading law enforcement on a goose chase that lasted years. They interrogated every person she had ever known, searched every cabin within a 50-mile radius, and still, the silence remained absolute. It is chilling to realize that someone can be here one moment and simply not there the next, leaving their entire identity behind like a shed skin. Was it a calculated abduction, or did she wander into something far more ancient and dangerous than a criminal predator? We often think of the wilderness as a place of leisure, but cases like this remind us that nature is indifferent to our existence. Every year, people vanish into these same woods, and most are eventually recovered, leaving behind a story of tragedy. But Linda Stout is different, and the fact that she was never found remains a jagged splinter in the side of those who still hike these trails. There are those who claim that if you stand on the ridge where she was last seen, the atmosphere shifts, growing heavy and unnervingly quiet. Is it just the power of suggestion, or does the land hold a memory of the day she disappeared? Perhaps the truth is simpler and more terrifying, that we are far more fragile than we care to admit. Consider the reality of the evidence locker, housing the few items recovered from the periphery, items that tell us nothing about her fate. These objects, once personal and beloved, now serve as cold reminders of a life cut short by an unsolvable mystery. Her family spent decades haunted by the same unanswered question: what did she see in those final, solitary moments? Was it a stranger, a natural hazard, or something that defies conventional logic? The longer we look at the facts, the more the pieces refuse to fit together, leaving us with a picture that is fundamentally broken. We are left to wonder if the mountain is still holding her, tucked away in a crevice that no human eye has scanned in 40 years. There are secrets in the wilderness that refuse to be unearthed, and maybe, in the case of Linda Stout, that is exactly how it is meant to stay. Yet, every time a new hiker sets out on that trail, the story of the woman who walked into the mist and never returned is whispered like a warning. Stay vigilant, for the forest watches, and some stories don't have an ending, they only have a beginning that repeats itself in the silence. As we close this chapter, we are reminded that some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, they are meant to be feared. Until the next time we peel back the veil on the truth, keep your eyes on the path and pray you never find yourself in the silence that Linda Stout found. Because once you step off that path, there is no guarantee you will ever find your way back to the world of the living. The mountain remains, the trail remains, but Linda Stout is a ghost of a memory, lost to the trees that refuse to give her up. We will be watching, we will be waiting, and we will continue to uncover the stories that the world tried to bury. The truth is out there, hidden in the places we are too afraid to look. But are you really prepared to find what's waiting in the dark? The answer, as always, is lost in the wind, echoing through the trees where no one is left to hear it. Remember her name, for it is all that remains of a life that vanished without a trace.